Yo, yo, yo. So this is part two of my thoughts. It's pretty much a ranting video. My thoughts, things that I have thought about. I wanted to clarify that because on the first video, I said things that I think about. But when I'm just wandering around, when I'm by myself, and I'm because like I said, I have a curious mind. So when I'm just like randomly thinking of things, I'm not necessarily thinking about it on a day to day basis. I actually don't think about all those things on a daily basis at all. It just like when I'm by myself and I just start pondering about the universe and the existence of life existence and all that, and I just start having random thoughts. I just think about it at that moment, but I don't go on with my life thinking about those things regularly. I don't think about them at all. It just happens, and that's that specific random moment, and then I just forget about it, which is the reason why I don't remember thoughts too. First of all, because I'm forgetful, but also because I don't continue to think about the same thoughts over and over um, when I'm randomly thinking about things, if that makes sense. But yeah, I still haven't posted the first video that I made. I still don't know if I'm ever gonna post it. I don't even know. That being said, this one might not be posted either. But if I ever do, then I'll post. If I post that one, then obviously I'm gonna post this one after. Um, I guess I'll just have it saved in my phone in case I do decide to post it. But as of now, I haven't posted the first video. I just right now I just got bored, and then I remembered about the video. I'm like, what did I do with that video? Did I erase it, or and I looked for it and it was still there. I reviewed it, and I'm like, and I wanted to add more stuff to it. So yeah, this is my second video. I'm kind of sick right now, so I have a cold. So um, bear with me if I'm coughing and stuff, But yeah. So where do I start? Um, I know the talk I involved like UFOs and extraterrestrial a lot. Um, and I think because no, I don't think I know. For me, it's because right now it's like so massive um, that you can't ignore that discussion, that talk, that topic. Um, like I said, when I was a little kid, you would get humiliated if you bring that up. Like people would make fun of you. Um, they'd call you a lunatic. You would be made out to look extremely crazy, mentally crazy. Like you should be at a mental asylum or some sort of mental facility because something's completely wrong with you for sure, undoubtedly. Back in the day, so yeah, no. But now it's like it's so excessive that it's exaggerated at this point. You can't ignore that topic. You know, there's sightings everywhere. There's massive amount of content being posted online from all over the world, and it's just you know, it's so apparent that you can't ignore it, and it's not even abnormal anymore to talk about it. It's actually pretty normal, and you're not really looked at as crazy um when you share a sighting that you witnessed or whatever, or even talking about it. So it's easier to it's easier to talk about, and and it makes more sense to talk about it. You know, I I always said that, not always, but I mean for me it's like I said that I believed in it because the universe is so vast, right? We're like um from the perception of the universe, like us, in comparison to the universe, we're like microscopic, and the universe just keeps expanding. It's already vast as it is, and it just continues to expand, as I speak. And it's expanding at, I don't know, the speed of it, um, faster than the speed of light. I could be wrong. I'm not sure. So it's just very quickly expanding. And so it's just endless. It's pretty much endless. So we're like microscopic, you know. Um, we're so insignificantly small compared to the planet, and the planet Earth is so insignificantly small compared to the sun, and the sun is insignificantly small compared to um, other stars that have been identified, and those stars are insignificantly small compared to supermassive black holes that have been identified as well, and those supermassive black holes are significantly small in comparing that. The list just continues to go on, and then all those things could still look like dots, like speck of dots, and in a graph of the known universe, what we know, only what we know, it could still be looked as a speck of dot, because of course the size of the whole universe is unknown. So that's why I say, like, we're like microscopic, you know. But that being said, so where was I trying to go with this, with the extraterrestrial life? So for me, I find it crazy, first of all, that scientists, when they describe supposedly trying to find living species, extraterrestrial species outside of the Earth, they're trying to, even not even extraterrestrial species, but just life, cohabitable life outside of this planet. They always they limit themselves by trying to find the same ingredients, the same chemicals, the same necessities that humans require, for a place to be habitable, and for a species to also be a living organism. They require certain certain necessities to be acquired for their existence. And to me, that's stupid. It's stupid because now you're presuming that everyone has to be human-like, and it's like, to me, it's like, it's not really a good analogy to relate, but in a way, a little bit it is. Like, it's like me seeing my cats. They don't have the same needs as a human when it comes to food consumption. They don't, and they can't, digest the same foods as me, because certain foods could kill them, immediately kill them. Well, chocolate being one of them. And it's like, so you have to be careful what you give them, and in a way, like dogs and cats, dogs being a dependent animal, cats being independent, different personalities. They could thrive through different scenarios because of their personalities. So they differentiate from each other. There's a distinction, right? So those differences are not as, I guess I would say, they're not as substantial, I guess. Now, when I want to bring like extraterrestrial, the thing I'm trying to say though is that, like, why do we assume that they require the same thing, like that they require water to be able to live? We don't know that. Like, what if they require a different chemical to live? What if they don't even require water at all to live? Like, what if they don't experience thirst? You know, um, and if they do, why does it have to be water? Why can't it be a different chemical? Because we're only speaking from what we know, but we don't know everything, and it's just for me, it's like shallow and narrow-minded to assume that they have to be like us. Like, we require the laws that we know to be applied everywhere. Doesn't matter where you are at the universe. Like it's not just limited to this planet, but it has to be. The laws have to be the same everywhere. And even though the rest is so unknown, and we're just a speck in the vastness of the universe. So to me, it's like it's foolish thinking to think like that. We don't know the body needs. We don't even know what the body even looks like of a extraterrestrial. Maybe their senses are different too. The abilities are different. Maybe they don't know what feel in a sense feels like, because they don't have arms, so they can't grab. They can't get a hold of things and feel like with their palms, like, so their sense of feel is different. Their perception of feel is different. So if they are um more intelligent and intellectually advanced, and so they're able to develop things, they're the things that they create are gonna how do I say it, like, fulfill the needs of their sensory abilities, of their way of feeling things. It's not gonna be like related to gripping things, being able to obtain things physically when they don't have hands. It's gonna be fulfilling the sensory abilities that they have. You know. Um. So I don't know. It's probably. I know it sounds not probably. It sounds crazy what I'm saying, but I don't know. It's just my way of thinking. Maybe their crafts. They don't even have a steering wheel to navigate because they don't have hands. So they probably navigate things differently, and in the way how their sensory abilities are. So it it adapts to how they're able to function. Is what I'm trying to say. Um, yeah, that's just, I don't know. It's just one way of one a thought that I had, and then just a thought too. The thought that some people say that they're so advanced than us, far beyond advanced to us. They're like billions, not even millions, billions of years more advanced than us, and far more superior in intelligence than us. And what I think, for me, it's apparent that they are far more advanced, because obviously all the sightings that we've been seeing, all the crafts that we've been seeing, have reached Earth. And from the proximity that we know, all our solar system, and even from everything that we know about space, we haven't confirmed life outside of Earth. And we have the technology that we have right now, the current technology. So for them to come past beyond that to interstellar area that we don't know about, because we could only reach so far, and for them to come far beyond that, that says about their level technology and therefore their level of intelligence, and it's apparent that it's superior because we could barely, as much as we could travel is the moon. Recently with the Artemis 2 mission that just visited the moon and came back. That's as far as we gone, and that's still impressive. But I mean, if you compare it to the sightings, there's way, way, way more advanced, and so people are saying that they're billions of years advanced. But to be honest, like, I don't know. I think about it, and I think they're definitely more advanced, but I don't know about billions of years though. I don't. I think that's too exaggerated. Um, because not that long ago, if you think about it, not that long ago, people were living like a caveman, or and from the caveman they just kept developing to where they were living a more structured life, with resources, and the further you go through eras, through generations, there was always progression of technology, and it kept getting more structured, more civilized, more technologically advanced. And this is just within a matter of a couple thousand years, you know. And if you look at history, I was never a fan of history. I always felt my history class, like for me, politics was honestly, it's gonna sound bad, but for me, politics was insignificant. It was completely unimportant to me. Like I care less for history. I always fell asleep in my history class. I didn't care about the wars. I didn't care about politics, to be honest. But I knew that there was like, the Indians had the bows and arrows, um, and then people had the old school guns, and so there was weapons, and then there was built homes by bricks, and then now we're developed into the age of technology that we currently have. We have smartphones when before there was wired phones and pay phones, and then eventually went to like mobile flip phones and Blackberries with the QWERTY keyboard phones, and then it had a camera, and now went to like touchscreen cell phones. Now there's even foldable phones, um, and it just continues to progress, right? And from a bicycle, then motorcycle, cars, and then helicopters and aviation, airplanes, and so all these things happen within a couple of 1,000 years. Um, so for me, I think that we advance very quickly, super quickly, and now there's AI, artificial intelligence, and that's another in a way you could say it's a scary thing for sure, um, because now these AIs could create, how do I say it, like they could create content out of your image. It could portray you in something that you haven't even done. Like AI just has that ability, and the thing I'm trying to say is that we have advanced so quickly. So who's to say that if we're able to do all these things, you know, within, okay, the lunar exploration, before Artemis 2, it happened. The last one happened in what? I'm not good. I haven't done research and everything. I'm not a historical person. I'm not good at history at all. Uh, if I had to guess, the last mission was Apollo, I don't know what, and it happened 1969. I could be absolutely wrong, and I apologize if I am wrong. But if it was in 1969, we're in the year 2026, and now the Artemis 2 mission happened this year, recently. How many years of difference is between that time frame? 69 and 2026, what is that? 30, 56, 57, 57 years. So within a 57-year period, we were able to not only go to the moon, but now we were able to go visit and go around into the dark side of the moon, and come back safely. So who's to say what we're gonna do in billions of years? And we also have how do I say, the things at Mars, the rovers at Mars. So we gone as far as that too. Even Elon Musk sent a vehicle, I think, one of his vehicles in outer space. I don't know for what reason. And then we have satellites, which, in space as well, to give reception and etc. Things that didn't exist not that long ago. So who's to say, from all these things that we have, the progression that has transcended, who's to say where we're going to be at in a billion years when we have done all this within a matter of years? The whole moon thing within less than a century. So for me, in a billion years, that's exaggerated too, I think. But they're definitely more advanced. But I don't know. I don't know. Billions of years out. And that makes me think, are they really more intelligent? Or is it the same level of intelligence, but just more, or obviously, just more advanced, because, how do I say it? Maybe more advanced because they have existed longer, so they have had more time to develop and gone through evolution of, their technological evolution. So there's just a longer progression of things, but it's still the same level of intelligence. Just like I said, just a longer progression of time. So, or is it that there just really are far more intelligent? That I don't know. That I don't know. There has always also been that idea that supposedly extraterrestrial is really us in the future. The future of us. That has already evolved to a different reality, futuristic reality. And they're visiting, and who knows, maybe for experimentation, curiosity of the past, or trying to change the past somehow, something, who knows. And then if that is so, what if that is possible? What if it is us, but we were able to go outside of our thinking ability? Because I remember hearing that we're only able to use 10% of our brain. So what if the human species in the future were able to discover how to break beyond that barrier, thinking conscience barrier, and be able to use our entire 100% thinking ability, and then that's when we evolved and we became them. What if what if that's the situation too? Because I do remember hearing when I was a kid that supposedly the human um could only use is only able to use 10% of their brain, you know, and that's crazy. Um, yeah, it's crazy. And going back to like the um now that I'm talking about percentages, it brought back the idea, the thought of when I was talking about on the first video that we think about the because we don't find anything, we haven't found supposedly extraterrestrial life from the limits of space that we know. We're able to conclude that it's doesn't exist for the remaining vastness of space. And I remember I saw a really good, a really excellent, actually excellent being the more accurate word, the best accurate word actually, analogy for that. It's like it's like for a person to get a regular cup of water, right? And they go into the ocean, assuming, just making this up, assuming that they're foreign to the ocean. Like maybe the first person that discovered the ocean, and I'm just making up stuff, a theoretical scenario. They get a cup and they pour into the sea, fill it up with water, and say, "Hey, there's no life that lives in the ocean. I don't see any living organism within this volume of water." So yeah, so I'm able to conclude for the rest of the ocean, you know, based on this 0.000000001%. Um, Based on this, I'm able to conclude that there's no life. I don't see nothing in here that's living. It's just liquid water. And then they tell that person, well, try again. Maybe, just because you did it one time doesn't mean that it's going to be like that all the time. Do it again. All right. Still no living organism. So what? Do it 10 times. Okay. Still no living organism. So that's the way how I see, like, we only know a very small percentage, very small quantity of, of our surrounding in space, you know, our solar system, and a bit beyond that. So who's to say, like, the vastness, and it keeps expanding, who's to say that just because we know the limit that we know and we haven't found anything, who's to say that the rest is going to be exactly the same, because this is the same within this small, circumference of space that we know. That's how I see it. Like, yeah, that's what we're pretty much doing. Okay, yeah, there's nothing here, so it's nothing in the rest of the ocean. The ocean is so ridiculously massive in comparison to this cup of water, with a small volume of water. So I think that's an excellent analogy of the way how I see space. I read it somewhere on YouTube, I think, and when I read it, I'm like, man, that's a genius analogy. And so yeah, there was that, and then what else? Was I gonna say? What else was I gonna say? Damn. Just I guess since I was talking about politics and history, I could go over that too a little bit. Like I always try to avoid like religion and politics and all that, but I mentioned it. Just say it, a little bit of it. To me, just for clarity, for me, politics was not important to me, you know, because to me, uh, I see everything like I see everyone the same. To me, I don't believe in color. To me, I just see a species. You know, it's like how some people say we all bleed the same way. That's what I see. I see the same living species with the same abilities, the same, um, yeah, the same everything. So that's why I think for me politics is stupid. And to be honest, like I feel like we're all at the end of the day, we're all on the same planet. We all live and we all die, and that's just the reality. So to me, I feel like looking outside the box, like there was, there the extraterrestrial life sees us and they analyze us and they see our behavior. I think they would think it'd be silly that we're right here hating on each other and killing each other based on race. You know, um, it's incomprehensible and just stupid. It's like, and then there's like um, borders, and that requires like paperwork and citizenship. Like to me, like all of that is stupid. I feel like there shouldn't be like I feel like, how do I say it? There shouldn't be like citizenships, and like people should just be free to go anywhere. You know, like there's no paperwork needed. You could just go anywhere, because at the end of the day, like the planet doesn't belong to no one, and we're at the same time we're all living in it too. So just do your life how you want to do it and go wherever you want. That's the way I see it. Like there shouldn't be any paperwork and citizenship and uh, what is it called? Damn, I forgot the word for it. Um, but yeah, I feel like that shouldn't exist. Like it should. We're all on the same planet. Just of course there should be laws in place, which there are. Um, just because I'm saying like people should just be free, I'm not saying that that we should live a life without laws and rules in place. No, it should still be governed. Because then there would be no control. Then there would be crimes happening all the time and violence and all that. I'm just saying that there shouldn't be such thing as like countries and states. Like that shouldn't exist. It's just a location. Therefore, they shouldn't exist like citizenships and residency and all that stuff. Like that's just my way of seeing things. You know, uh, same with nationalities. I don't think that we should have nationalities. They're just, yeah, just humans. There's only male and female. That's the way I see. That's the way I think it should be. Uh, but that's just my ideology, and that's as far as I'm gonna go with politics. And history. Um, that's like to me, like all of the history was like it was just nonsense to be honest. It was just uh, not important to me, to be more accurate, more respectful. It was just not important to me, to be honest. I just see things differently, you know. Um, and I'm okay with people disagreeing with how I view the world and life. Um, it's just how I view things. But anyways, with that being said, what other things, um, for me, going back with the progression of time, advancement with the progression of time. If we're able to move this fast, advance this fast in a short time span of a couple thousand years, and now we're here, you know, who's to say what we're gonna do in a billion years? Much less, like, forget a billion years. Like, who's to say where we're gonna be at in 1 century, one single century? We have advanced so fast within less than a century. Try to make the comparisons of now with one single century. We're in 2026. 1 century ago was 1926. How far have we advanced from the year 1926 to 2026? I think about the description of technological advancement within that specific time frame. In 1926 to 2026, 1 century. So who's to say where we're going to be at 100 years from 2026, 2126? But people want to think like billions of years from now, millions, billions, like we have advanced so quickly. So to me, it makes me wonder too, like, if their craft has visited here, obviously they're far more advanced. Like, how advanced are they really? Like, where are they at now? What advancements are they looking into now? Like, how do they think of advancing themselves from the current state of advancement that they're already in? Like, how far more could you go beyond their current level of advancement? When they try to think about how to advance, like, where did they go to? Like, because you're very advanced at that, to be able to travel the distance. So it just makes me think of, I don't know, like it. So if they're that advanced and they have clearly visited for many years and continue to visit, and people think, are they, we gotta be careful. Like, what are their intentions? We don't know their intentions. Are they evil? Are they scary? And to me, the way I think, it's mysterious for sure. Nobody knows, of course, but at the same time, it's very clear as well in an aspect, because if you think about it, if they're that advanced and they're that intelligent, why are we still here? They're obviously far more advanced. So if their technology is that advanced, it, I'm pretty sure they have to have a way to defend themselves too. And if they have a way to defend themselves, they also have a way to offend, to fight. So they have weaponry. And if they have weaponry, they could dominate because they're far more advanced. So why are we still here? They could choose to easily obliterate the entire planet, but they haven't done so. Instead, they just continue to visit. So the question there is, why? If they for me, if they haven't done it, it's for a reason, because they could easily do it. So it makes me think, at the end of the day, it's still a big mystery. It's a huge unknown. But one thing for sure is that at least I'm able to say that they're not malicious. You know, that's a fact. They're not malicious because otherwise, if they wanted to overtake, they would have done it already. They would have easily done it, but they haven't. We don't know the reason, but we know that we know is that they haven't. So they're not, and life continues to exist, and life continues to reproduce. Not only exist but reproduce. So for me, that at least I don't know what the reason behind is, but I know that at the very least I know that they're not malicious. That's just my personal conclusion, though. That's what I get to. And then some people have said that um, they might be at the stage where they're telepathic, and that makes me wonder, like how do you live in a world where your life like is just surrounded by telepathy? How can you coexist? How could you evolve? How could you develop when there's that like telepathy? Like there's no privacy. It's like if they really exist in that way of life, like it's kind of like it's comical, and at the same time it's like, man, that would be like nerve-wracking too. Like imagine them being at their planet, and male and female uh, from a different world, um, and they have this telepathy ability, and they're experiencing these thoughts where they could read from each other. They already know what they're thinking. Like, man, that would be super awkward. And then same with trying to, a group of scientists from their world trying to come up with ideas for productivity, and then like you could just steal ideas because you have the ability to telepathy ability. Like, how does that work? I don't know. For me, telepathy, um, I don't think that would really exist. As far as advanced as they could be, I just don't see it as a special ability that any being could acquire, because it's just not beneficial. It's just not. It's just not a productive ability, and I just feel like a more evolved being would obviously be more productive, more, with higher abilities, and in a way that's like, how do I say it? It is like a super attribute, but I don't necessarily think it's productive though. So I don't since it's not productive and beneficial, I wouldn't consider it uh, like an evolved asset, like an asset that you would acquire through evolution. Yeah, if that makes any sense. So, yeah, I don't think, but I could be wrong. Who knows? No, nobody knows. It's just me thinking, ranting on random thoughts. Um, well, what other thoughts did I have? Just um, yeah. What else? Right now, things are getting out of hand. Like I feel like there's always been signs in movies. It's kind of like the Simpson. How the Simpsons has long predicted stuff, but I think the main director or the main creator has recently died. the main creator of The Simpsons. It's weird though, because I remember hearing that news kind of recent. Like it probably happened like half a year ago or so. I could be wrong. Maybe it might have happened longer. I apologize if that sounds disrespectful. I remember hearing about it. I don't know the exact time frame. I felt like it was recent though, and but I do remember making a project out of the director or the creator of The Simpsons, and for some reason, the person that they mentioned that passed away, that was the creator of it, it didn't match with the name that I was making a research on, because I thought that the creator was Matt Groening, and the person that passed away wasn't Matt Groening. It was a person with a different name, and that's who they referred to as the creator of The Simpsons. I don't know. I was confused when I heard that. But supposedly he passed away, so they're saying that The Simpsons not gonna be able to predict any new things in the future episodes, because there's gonna be a different writer that's gonna continue on with the animation. But anyway, what was I going with that? I was gonna go with something with that. Um, fuck, what was I trying to say? Damn, I lost my train of thought because of ranting. Um, just how The Simpsons is able to predict all these events. Yeah. You know, they like in TV. There's like The Simpsons that has mentioning of things that happen in their episodes, and then later on it turns out being true, and it's like The Simpsons just hinting at all this stuff. And I feel it like the same, not outside of The Simpsons, just televised shows. They make events, imaginary events that are, fiction, but then, and like, are they really fiction though? The events kind of like um fuck, man. Well, the supernatural events, aliens, ET, and many, with their spacecraft that are UFO discs, before, like back in the day, before it exploded like how it is now. And like, but it was shown so much in movies and cartoons, and then other stuff too. Not even UFO related, but other stuff too. Uh, you know, fuck, man, I had other things in mind, but can't remember. The only thing I could remember is just the UFO, because that's what I've been talking about. Um, yeah, but all, just yeah. So like the whole not RoboCop, but the other one. What's it called? Like the Terminator, and yeah, the Terminator. And I remember I saw this other one, this movie called um damn, what was the name of that movie? Um, I forgot the name of the movie, but it was about a female robot that they humanized. Um, they made it really human, like Electra, Electra. Uh, I forgot, but yeah, and then but at the end of the day, she was a robot, and yeah, it just makes me think about those things like AI. I feel like that's hinting at reality things. It's like they're putting hints of reality, of the future reality, and it's really not so far reach. Like it's actually, there's that potential of being it real. So um, I think with the whole AI thing, it's on point with that. Like the way how it's creating scenarios out of people, um, stories and experiences out of people that resembles, the people in an identical way, but it's really not them. It's AI generated. man, is and then the way how by force they're implementing AI in in your search and your web search and everything, your social media, your social media, your internet, and even when you're not even using it, like if you're speaking and the phone randomly captures your voice and you say something that alerts the AI system, it's gonna speak out and it's gonna search for whatever it is that you accidentally spoke about. So it's like actively listening. Like all these things is just like it's creepy, man. It's creepy and it's just um, it's crazy, you know. Um, like even if you try to, what's that thing called, ChatGPT? I don't really use it, but I always hear about it. You could ask questions to it, and then it's gonna behave like a human and give you an answer, and it's gonna be thinking like, man, eventually it's gonna get to a point where it's gonna be advanced, and then it's gonna have a mind of its own, and it's gonna produce its own physical form to exist, physically exist, you know, and process its own thoughts rather than wait to be commanded, wait to be spoken to and initiated to think. Like it's just eventually it's gonna be able to it's gonna want to develop its own identity and its own thoughts and decisions. And when that happens, man, they're already taking over jobs too, so people are here talking about where are we going to be in billions of years, and we're going to be like, bro, where are we going to be in 1 century? If AI is already introduced to us in the present moment at 2026, where the hell are we going to be in 1 century? Forget about millions and billions and, you know, yeah, it's crazy, man. Um, and if those beings, the sightings that we see are far more advanced, um, do they have AI, technological creations, um, being billions of years advanced? Like, what abilities do they have? Like, I doubt that they have that, they would know better, I think. So, I don't know. That's too far out into thinking. Um, but yeah, those are my thoughts. Um, Last thing was, that I mentioned, just our existence is so extremely rare. I just wanted to go deeper into that. You know, for me, I think it's not only extremely rare. I feel like extremely, even the word extremely is an understatement. How rare it is that we exist. I think it's an exaggerated um, level of luck or just yeah, of existence. It's to an exaggerated level that we exist. The possibility is exaggerated. It goes beyond extreme. It's like exaggerated because, like I said, the millions of sperm that you have to fight, yours happens to be the one, you know, um, to make it through. But it's not just about quantity, that you fight against the millions. That alone is it's mind boggling. But it also has to be the time, you know, the time that it happens, you know, because it has to be a combination of all those things, of the factor of all those things, you know. So, and then to add on top of that, for you to be birthed as a human, to be able to witness, this existence, even though it's temporary, but just to be able to exist and make your own, add your own impact to your existence. It's super extremely rare, super extremely rare. It's the way that I see it. And I remember mentioning the positive, but I also said that it's also a negative reality, but I didn't go into the negative after reviewing my first video. But there was a negative too, like being birthed a human. Yeah, it comes with the negative side too, because of course not everybody is born with the same scenario, the same circumstances, and being able to have intelligence to interpret everything that's going on, to decipher and analyze and everything. It could also be extremely painful depending on your situation and your perceptions. If you come in an environment of extreme solitude and just hardships, depending on the family that you have, and then your understanding to emotions, to psychology, and just all those things, and then your understanding of where you stand, and in spite of all those factors, it could be a painful existence too. And that all comes because of being born of a human with intelligence, So there's that too. I believe so. There's that too. So, but in my point of view, it's an ability to see both sides. If you fall in a scenario of what I just described right now, you can still see both sides. That's what I'm trying to say. Yeah. But yeah, it's super extremely rare. Extremely. Huh. Yeah, this video's long already. I'm trying to think of other things to mention, but I'm already sleepy. What time is it right now? It's 2, you can't see it, but it's 2:59. 3, it's 3 already. 3 in the morning. I should be getting close to sleeping already. So, yeah, that's probably why I feel sleepy right now too. I had other things that I was thinking about, but I forgot them, This video is way longer than the first one. It's twice as long. So hopefully it doesn't sound like a bunch of rambling. If it does, I apologize. I wasn't really trying to make it sound like that. But peace out. See you guys on the next one.